It's funny how the quarterbacks have different overall demeanors. Patrick Mahomes is always the same, never changes, and comes out and plays as well, if not better than anyone who's ever played. But boy, Jalen Hurts is locked in. He's dialed in. He may need to just relax a little bit. You still got 9 days before the game. He looks like he's ready to go play right now, Peter.
You know what? It's interesting. After that Giants game, I remember another writer, we were just talking, in the, underneath the stadium after the press conferences. And he said, man, Jalen Hurts just doesn't really seem that happy. He's kind of sullen. And I said, no, understand who Jalen Hurts is. Jalen Hurts has always been, I'm reminded of this story one time that Jason Garrett told me when he was the head coach of the Cowboys. Jason Garrett loved the New York Yankees. So one year, he's the coach of the Cowboys. This is Jason is still coaching Tony Romo throwing to Jason Witten. And at the time, those two guys were the two leaders on his team. So he goes to Yankees spring training, and he meets up with Derek Jeter. And he said, I got a question for you. The two leaders on my team are really, that everybody looks to, are Tony Romo and Jason Witten. And he said, I'm a little bit bothered. They never speak up. Very rarely do they say anything in front of the team. They might talk to individual guys. I said, should I be bothered by that? And he said, Jeter smiled and said, hey, coach, you know how I lead? Everybody said, okay, Jeter's a leader. You know how I lead? I'm taking ground balls at 10 after 7 every morning when we are due into our facility at 8 a.m. And I want everybody who drives into our facility to look out on the field and say, oh, my God, Jeter's out there. And, some of them will see it, some won't. But they know every day I'm out there putting in the extra work that it takes to win a World Series. And I'm reminded of that because I doubt sincerely that Jalen Hurts ever stands up in front of his team and gives them a Newt Rockne, win one for the Gipper speech. Okay, he's not that kind of guy. But I'm reminded also of what Nick Sirianni told me earlier this season. He goes, last Tuesday, they're getting ready to play the Jaguars. Okay, and he goes, it's Tuesday night, the players' day off. It's 9:00. We're finished up with the game plan. We're just putting the finishing touches. And there he is. He's in there just looking and seeing what he can get a head start on for Wednesday. And, you got to tell the guy, will you please go home? But everybody in the building knows that. And the last thing I'll say about Jalen Hurts. So after that Giants game, I'm foraging around the locker room, just talking to people. And I spent 10 minutes maybe with Jason Kelsey. And I said, hey, I'm going to go talk to Jalen Hurts. I said, give me a really good question. Give me a good topic that he will be really interested in talking about. And he thought, Jason Kelsey's never at a loss for words. But he goes, I honestly just can't think of one. He's just a worker. And he goes, I would define him, just the perfect word for him is stoic. And so you're not going to get bubbly Mahomes out of Jalen Hurts. That's just who he is. And his teammates love him for it.
And that was something he told me back after they beat the Steelers that he senses. And he stepped out of character, and he acknowledged he was stepping out of character and talking about himself. He acknowledges that his personality is spreading to the others on the team, and that's how you do it, by example. There are different ways to lead. You can lead by standing up and being the sheriff and giving the win one for the Gipper speech, which maybe you and I are the only ones who know what that means at this point. Play the piano. But you can also lead by showing up every day and setting the standard for everyone else. It reminds me of the story Rodney Harrison tells, showing up for work at the Patriots facility, going into the weight room at 7 a.m. Tom Brady says, "Good afternoon, Rodney." So Rodney starts going earlier, gets there at 6:30. Tom Brady, "Good afternoon, Rodney." 6 a.m., "Good afternoon, Rodney." And then Rodney eventually said, "I'm not going in any earlier than 6 o'clock. If Tom Brady wants to come in before 6, he can do it. I'm not matching that." But that's how you lead. You set the example, and others see it and say, well, if I want to be great, I better do the same thing. So both guys, great leaders in their own ways, and both guys, great quarterbacks. And, this is an item that I noticed people talking about immediately after the conference championships ended and the Super Bowl was locked in. The idea, and it's stunning to me, and I hadn't really thought about it. We're 35 years removed from the first time a black quarterback won a Super Bowl, Doug Williams, Super Bowl 22, that incredible 35-point outburst in the second quarter, down 10-0. Those were the days where if you were down 10-0 in the Super Bowl, it was just over. It was going to be 43-10 by the time it was done. They came back and blew the doors off the Broncos. 35 years later, we have a Super Bowl with both quarterbacks starting in the game black. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.